Hello everybody, this is a video made for our students that are interested in getting part-time jobs in the next coming up summer, which is right around the corner. Now I know a lot of you just turned 18 and most of the students in our class are actually girls. So today we're going to focus a little bit on the different kind of jobs, and I'll also give you guys some tips about like getting part-time jobs or getting jobs in the future. Now we're also, because this is an English class, so we have to focus on some English vocabulary and also some I guess some things you need to prepare for work interviews in English. So let's take a look at the vocabulary first. So I wrote these words down for you guys because I think these are like the really basic ones that you really need to know. Okay, interview vocabulary. Now this we've talked about in class previously in our actual classes at school, CV and resume. Now a lot of you still don't know how to pronounce this, so this is resume. Resume. Can we say it? Resume. Now this is the American version of what we call 履历表, and CV is the British version. So like a lot of students go on working holiday like in the last couple of years, and most of the students tell me that when they go to Australia they would actually get a form called CV, and then they need to fill in their personal information. There's actually a lot of recruiting companies in housing, share houses, that actually help students find like part-time jobs in Australia for working holiday. So just to know that if you ever go to New Zealand, Australia, England, or any British kind of a system, schools, then you'll be, not schools, I mean countries, you'll be required to have a CV. Okay. Now, if you're heading out to America, then you will use a resume. You will call it a resume. Okay, the next keyword I think is also pretty basic, but I think you guys should know, is hiring and recruit. Hiring just means they are actually looking for somebody, looking for someone. So like 招募, right? And recruit is also the same, which also means they are looking for someone. Now, a lot of times in the TOEIC test, the real TOEIC test, we'll see this word recruit a lot, and hiring also. Like the hiring manager is actually a position where the managers would actually be responsible for getting people into the company to work for them, right? Okay, so hiring and recruit, they are both verbs. Okay, the next keyword here we've got is interviewer and interviewee. The difference is the and the e. So as we know, interview means 面试, interview. And the verb for this is have. I have an interview this afternoon. For example, this is how you say it. I have an interview this afternoon. Now, a lot of interviews nowadays are conducted online, which means, especially if it's for working holiday, I've actually seen students who actually sat like in a cafe and they just opened up their laptop computer and then they're connected to America or Australia, and then the people that are hiring, the hiring managers, just have an English interview with them right away there, just on the spot. So maybe the job you'll be getting could be an online job. Online jobs are actually quite popular nowadays. I guess it's the trend for your generation, okay? But in local Taiwan, I don't think it's a very, it's not a very popular thing yet. So most of the jobs that people get here are still jobs where you have to go into the stores or the restaurants or wherever you want to work, and then they will pay you by the hour. So every country is a little bit different in a sense, but this is also something you might want to look into, because while I was preparing for this class, I found that there's a lot of online jobs now for university students. In America, they would call college students 大学生, and in British countries, we usually say uni students, which means people who go to universities. You guys. Right, so this is basically what it is. So this is how you say it, have an interview. So an interviewer is the person who asks you questions. So these are what we call like 访问者. And then interviewee are the people being asked. This is you. And this is the recruiter. Right. So that's basically the difference between the two. But a lot of students get really confused with these vocabs. Interviewer and interviewee. Alright, let's move on to the next one, which is very important, which is wage and salary. Now, we've also talked about this in class. Wage is basically by the hour. So you are paid according to the number of hours you actually work. Now, the minimum or the maximum hour of working nowadays is, in Taiwan, it's 8 hours. 8 hours. For part-time, it depends. Sometimes it's 4 to 6. 4 to 6 hours or 8 hours. But I know there are some companies that actually make people work much, much longer than this. But so when you go for an interview, you really need to ask about the details about working hours. Okay, so we've got wage and salary. Salary is by months. So how much money do you get paid per month? So this is 月薪 and this is 时薪, wage and salary. Okay, let's take a look at another word that is often a popular word in the TOEIC. We've got permanent. 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 Try it. Permanent. Position here is not 位置, 不是. Position here means 职位. Okay? So a permanent position means like a position that is there for you, like 正职. Okay, so you get the job, you get everything. Okay, temporary job or temporary position is 暂时. So it means it's a short-term job. Some really temporary jobs in Japan can range from 7 days to 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but this is not so common here in Taiwan. So it depends on the job you look for. So this would also be something that you need to talk to the interviewer about before you say yes to the job. Okay, the next one is job description. In Chinese, we call this 工作内容. Okay, so in English, you would say, what's the job description for this position? Right? What's the job description for this position? So you need to know exactly what you need to do. Okay, and then work out the working hours. The working hours is 工作时数. And in most Western countries, we say shifts. 就是班. Shift means 班. So for example, we've got the morning shift is 早班. The afternoon shift. Okay, and then we've got the night shift. And the midnight shift sometimes, because some companies do open 24 hours, which is very common here in Asia.